2025. Mr. Lockwood, please call the roll.
Ms. Shenefeld will not be here tonight. Dr. Carrasco will not be here tonight. Mr. Curry?
Here.
Mr. Steigel?
Here.
Mr. Tozer?
Here.
Mr. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Rosen?
Here.
Okay, all rise for the allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the first item on the agenda will be approval of the minutes from the council meeting on July 14th.
So moved. Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
Okay, 401 on that one. Next up, we do have one special report this evening. It's good news from our Peters Township Joe Mays Field. And, Paul, if you want to tell us about that.
Sure. The Peters Township Under 12 team competed in the Eastern Zone Championship Tournament that was sponsored by Pony, and that tournament took place at Peterswood Park. The team went undefeated throughout that tournament and will be representing the Eastern Zone of Pony this Friday, August 1st. They'll be traveling to Laredo, Texas to compete, and they'll be competing against teams from the Dominican Republic, Tokyo, Japan, Chicago, and Mexico. Congratulations to those guys.
Yeah, hats off.
And once they get back, we can invite them in to a council meeting.
Perfect. Okay, so moving to audience comments. This is an opportunity for any member of the audience to address council for up to 5 minutes on a non-agenda item. So, any takers? Come on up. You just state your name and address and write your name down.
Sure. My name is Philip Ross. I live at 642 East McMurray Road. And I'll write my name down after I speak.
Okay.
If I'm on the clock here, I want to go quick. Thanks for the opportunity to come up and speak. Basically, I'm asking for a rezone request this evening. The request stems from the plan that was put together in 2022 and a couple of weeks ago, or a few weeks back, concerning one of the properties that this rezoning affected. So basically, the intent of that plan, to back up, was to get it mixed residential and single-family housing in this town center area by the middle school and up the road on McMurray Road with some of the properties that were zoned there. As a result of that, several of the properties were rezoned to reflect what was in that 222 plan, along with the middle school. But that portion of the plan has not moved forward. So if we fast forward, now we have a situation where there's a single-family home that's being turned into a multi-unit property, and that's really not what the intent of the plan was. It was more to make it like I have some of the drawings from the plan, but an updated, like a Dublin, Ohio, if you're familiar with that, or maybe a Mount Lebanon in the areas where there's dense housing and commerce and things of that nature. So now with the knowledge of the middle school, it sounds like that's been put on hold, so everything's put on hold there. However, I think that the cart was before the horse, because everything was put on hold, but we had someone who came in, purchased that home, and now they're modifying it to be a multi-unit residential housing unit, for lack of better words. So what I'm requesting is basically going until the fate of the middle school is established, to get the zoning back to what it was, because nothing has really happened other than a developer coming in and buying a single family property and trying to turn it into a multi-unit property. I'd like to do this sooner than later than waiting on the new plan that I understand that's in effect, because if we wait, that ship may already sail, and we may have this unit that was not intended to be there sitting in the middle of a bunch of single-family homes. So simply put, I don't think the intent was for someone to be able to buy one of these single-family homes, modify that, and turn that into a multi-unit residential type of housing unit in that current area. So basically, I'm asking for that zoning to be changed back to what it was until it's determined what happens with the middle school, and then we could relook at developing that area. So that is my request. Any Thank you for your time, or any questions that I can answer.
Well, some of us were part of the plan that you're referring to that goes back at that point in time. And you're right, the vision at that concept had been a transformation of this into a town center. The matter is not in front of this council. I think tonight is probably the first time I've heard of it. Mark, would you want to shed any light on where it is or what's
What this
processing?
stems from is there was a land development application put forth for 640 East McMurray, right adjacent to this gentleman's property. It is a single-family house currently. It is being advertised as rental for 2 units, and in order to do that, we need a change of use. That change of use requires a site plan, so that's the process we're going through to basically change it from a single-family house to a multi-family 2-unit structure.
So there's already an application that's been submitted.
There's an application, but it was denied by the Planning Commission due to lack of information. I am pretty sure they will be resubmitting in the coming months to go through this process again, hopefully, in this case, for their sake, with more information.
Because I quite frankly am sympathetic to the case that was just being stated tonight.
And if we were to move to rezone, John, would they have the protection of the current ordinance at this point?
Well, I think if they've withdrawn it, now the planning just,
You said
They-
rejected.
They denied the plan.
so unless there's a current application, they may have pending ordinance status if you were to amend.
There is not a current application at this time.
So that would, that zoning district includes all this property here as well, right?
It's about a dozen properties just east of, I guess it's east or north of Bell Avenue, Bell Drive.
And that was all the plan.
Residential.
That was what was supposed to be the local neighborhood commercial, right? When we thought that the middle school was going to become, apartments or pubs or anything other than what it ended up being.
Yes.
So in that sense, I wouldn't have a problem.
I wouldn't either, because we all know that
Happen.
that's
Happen.
exactly right.
What's the process, Mark? Does it have to go through the planning?
It will have to go to Planning Commission for their review. You can either set a public hearing now, or you can wait for their review and then set a public hearing.
Let's do it now.
Set it now. When do you want to set it for?
I would give us after the next, into September,
In
second
September.
meeting. of
Well,
September.
looking that we're in a little bit of a race, can they take it in their August meeting or no?
Why not?
Do you have the time?
They can, but I don't know that there's enough time for council to do that.
Why not?
Oh, the planning commission's next meeting is what, second Thursday in August, right? Which is what?
August 14th.
Okay,
We could vote to advertise in advance of that.
right. And then we could hear it, whatever, our would be then what, August 20?
August 25th.
Yeah, well, let's put it on the agenda.
So is the ordinance itself, though, just going to revert back? Is it that simple?
No, what you're
No,
going to do
I
is
don't
change the zoning on all of those homes, but I think we're going to have to take a look at this to make sure how we don't, like, for instance, across the street, create a problem for them.
we want that.
Yeah, we don't want to mess it up.
Well, it's very
This
simple.
is
I mean, these
strictly-
properties.
homes are all single family that
Right.
they're referring to. They're zoned currently mixed residential.
Does it
So-
carve that out, though, Mark? Like,
You're referring to what they're changing down at 615?
Yeah, across the
Okay.
street here.
Yeah, that's already zoned commercial, correct?
Town center, but yeah.
Yeah. We let us look at this. We can craft it in such a way that that won't be a problem.
We weren't putting a shotgun to your head. Yeah, you've got to study it, but
No, but he certainly has a point. I mean, that certainly was never our intention, that people were going to start breaking their houses up into duplexes to rent them out, yeah.
Well, could we put
Now, I
it
mean,
back?
it's different if you're going to move grandma in and she's going to live upstairs, that's
Yeah,
fine.
let
But
us-
when you're going to have
Let us
You know.
take a look at the properties. We'll carve out the single-family homes and return that to low density.
all right.
Do we need to set a public hearing?
that should
that
sound
public
as
hearing-
relatively good news to the
I
group
don't know
that's
that we
here.
can
So I-
advertise it yet because we don't have a version of the ordinance. I think you're going to have to see that.
Okay.
So if we could do it in your first meeting in August, present it to you, you can vote to move it along.
All right.
That would be great.
So as of right now, none of us have anything to worry about with another family?
No,
You have to
that's not
want
the
to worry
case.
about.
As the moment?
Even
If-
at the moment,
if-
you do have things to worry about.
Yes,
Okay.
because if the individual owns that property, makes application under the existing current zoning, it'll have standing and it will move forward.
And we don't get the pending status until.
You don't
we-
have an ordinance.
Yeah, once we bring the ordinance back to you at the next meeting.
So as of August 11th, they could be protected under a pending
It would be
ordinance.
probably closer to the 12th or 13th. We have to get it out for advertising once you vote to advertise it. I think, once we advertise it, it's pending.
Okay.
So in that week.
So just hope nothing happens in the
Right.
next 2 weeks.
So as long as no application comes in before August 13th, you should be fine.
And if an application would come in before August 13th,
Then
would
they're
we be
covered under the
notified?
current. Then they're covered under
They
the
have
current.
entitlement.
You would be
on this
notified.
plan.
Yes,
Okay.
just like you were for the last.
And do we have any ramifications at that point?
Well, you have the
What can
same
we-
right, you have the same right to go to the planning commission. I presume you're at the planning commission opposing it, right?
Yes.
Right, you have the same rights to do that.
It's just not me. It's-
I understand
Yeah.
that, but the thing is, if they come in with a plan before we advertise the new ordinance and the plan complies with all the requirements of the ordinance, then they're protected by it and they're permitted to proceed.
And
Doesn't that
and the
plan have
township
to
will
be
have,
accepted?
if it is,
Or just-
if it is
Well, it has to be
correct,
approved.
they'll
submit it.
be obligated to.
Right, but if it's
approve
not
it.
approved, if the planning commission ultimately rejects it,
I think it's over at that point.
Right.
That particular
Why was it
application
rejected?
is denied.
There was some deficiencies in related to showing where the parking is going to be, for example. And the developer wasn't there at the meeting to say, hey, I can fix this. So they just denied it.
Okay.
There was some, I live across the street.
You're going to have to come up to speed.
All right, here, I'll sign my name and get on it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I know it's two separate issues.
Yeah, you have to state your name and address, and then when you're done, you just sign it.
There's another mic over here.
You can go.
Here, I'll bring it over to you, Sarah.
All right. I live across the street, and I think there's building code violations too, in spite of what they've been trying to do. Like there's been a tarp over part of the roof, and so even what they're trying to do, they're not doing it. And I was at the planning commission meeting, and the building inspector is aware of all this, but just to give you a couple more details of them moving along, and parking spaces, and just stuff. So they're apparently aware of this stuff, so they're watching it too, from that point of view as well. So that's all I got to say. So it's kind
Did
of,
you state your name? I don't think so.
I'm sorry, Bob. Sarah Summer, and I know Bob. I live across the street at 639.
Anybody else, I can't talk, anybody else in the audience wish to address council? Come on up.
Hi, my name is Andy Swick, and I live at 644 East McMurray Road. I'm requesting council forward request that the zoning be changed from the residential overlay district to R1A. Due to the status of the old middle school building being held as a mixed-use facility by the school board, the community center plan is no longer an issue. As a result of this rezoning, Crehan Development purchased the house at 601 East McMurray Road, began remodeling and converting it into a 2-unit apartment while lying about his intentions to his immediate neighbors. He claimed that he was remodeling the house for, rental or just to a single family. He didn't say he was modifying it to become an apartment. Okay? In the meantime, this work was going on. I don't even believe that he had the proper permits to do the work at the time. I know for a fact he solicited, obtained renters for the place and never applied for an occupancy permit. So as far as I'm concerned, this whole thing was a big screw up from the beginning, and it really should never have happened. So I'm requesting that you gentlemen please consider, changing the zoning back to single-family dwelling, or I think you call it LD, low density now, housing, and just make it go back to our old neighborhood, a residential for single families.
And that's
Thank
what
you.
we have tried to do in our plan moving forward, so.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Shaner?
Yeah, I have to say something now.
Well, go ahead, the other microphone's open.
Gee whiz. No, okay. Now, how many meetings have we had, okay, where you all will say, oh, I didn't know about that. Mr. Lewis just said tonight, I didn't even know anything about that, okay? And then you have people come from the neighborhood, they complain, and then you side with them, or I don't care if you side with them or don't side with, that's not the point. But I think there needs to be a better system, okay? Because if he knew about it, then how come you guys don't know about it? Or there needs to be some kind of...
Because we're organized that we have different entities that deal with these different components. I mean,
Well,
with the
I don't know.
planning
Maybe you
commission-
need to look at the Planning Commission's agenda or something, you know, to see what they're reviewing, because this happens all the time. And now, what do you have to have a public hearing? Is that what you have to do? Yeah, see? There you go. You got to have a public meeting. You know, come on. Huh?
We'll advertise that for you.
Yeah, I know you will, but you know, this I just think it needs to be more efficient or something, so that you know about these things instead of this is like working backwards, okay? And now you know. I mean, I don't know what the great aversion is to have two apartments. I mean, I don't get that. Okay, you know me. We need some multi-units in this township, but as Mr. Taylor told me one time, that'll never happen. So okay, I'm living with that. But you know, I just think you need to be more efficient here. So I'm still talking because I have time. You know, because it's going backwards. You all should have known about this happening so that so maybe they don't have to come in here. Okay? That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other audience members wish to address council? Okay, seeing none, we'll move into, looks like there's no unfinished business. We'll jump into new business. First item will be setting a date for a public hearing for the transfer of a liquor license.
This is just to set the hearing, right?
It's to set the hearing, and what I'm suggesting is August 25th.
So moved.
Second. Okay, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Can we
this
explain
particular-
what it is that we're moving?
Yes, this is a public hearing for the transfer of a liquor license for a restaurant to be located at 615 East McMurray Road. The one thing, as you will recall, we recently had a similar hearing for a transfer of a license, in which case we notified everybody within 600 feet of that. But given this location and given that it is not up against any residential property, I'm not sure that that's a good use of our time and money to send out those notifications. So
Are you going to post the property? Put a notice on the property?
we can do that.
Just do that, I think, because within 600, how many people are we talking?
It's us, it's the school district, it's height, you know, the supermarket.
Yeah, I think you just post a notice on the property.
So we did approve that then, 5-0 for August 25th.
And again, we have no control. It's almost like
This is, yeah, so for
we're
now.
going to we have to rubber
We
stamp.
have-
More of a notice here.
Yeah.
That's the way it is, right?
So people could come in and complain, and we could say it's great, can't do anything about it anyway.
And we want it.
And we do.
I can tell you I want it. I know Frank's not talking
Great
about last
restaurant.
time we want it.
Yeah. All right.
Executive session.
Moving on to the next item will be awarding of a contract for highway line painting through Shaycog.
So this is something we do annually. There's a appropriation of $40,000 in this year's budget. We anticipate the cost of this being $33,922 based upon unit pricing. It's my recommendation that council award a contract to Alpha Space Controls for line painting.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second on that. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, 5-0. Next item will be approval for recording purposes of the Newcastle subdivision plan. I think I'll read it all.
So on November 27, 2023, Peters Township Council approved a preliminary plan for the Newcastle plan of lots. On May 13th of 2025, Peters Township received the final subdivision plan for the Newcastle plan. The deadline for council acting on this plan is September 10th, 2025. The developer's proposing a single-family 24-lot subdivision on 21 acres site with access to Just About Road and Sienna Trail. The resulting density is 1.1 homes per acre. Of the projected lots, 21 will have access to a new street, Drawbridge Lane. The remaining 3 lots will front on Just About Road. Lot sizes vary from 0.24 to 0.63. At the meeting, the Planning Commission, they recommended approval subject to the list of conditions that are in the manager's report. And it's my recommendation that council approve the Newcastle subdivision as shown on drawings by Victor Wenzel, Associate Landscape Architects, dated July 8th, 2025.
I'll make a motion that council approve the Newcastle subdivision plan as shown on drawings prepared by Victor Wetzel Associates Landscape Architects dated July 8, 2025 for 339 Just About Land Company, subject to the conditions noted in the manager's report.
I'll second, but Paul, I have one question. The 3 houses that are have driveways on Just About, there's not going to be any departures required for that, right? So we're not going to hear anything about that again. All right.
What's the general topography? I'm not that familiar with this particular site, so.
See, Victor's here.
At first, I thought I was looking at contour lines, but I don't think they are.
Good evening. Stephen Victor Wetzel Associates.
And there are 2 streams that run through the property. The main stream begins down here in the southwestern corner and rises up, continues north, and a second stream comes off from the east and comes through in this fashion. And so the property rises up and falls back down, sort of like in a half cone or half bulb. So there is a high point.
But your high point gave me the impression of being a ball field, perfectly flat, since there's no contour.
It certainly is not. There is a floodplain right through this area, so it's flat here opposite the farm ground across the street.
Yeah, I guess.
But this portion is flat, and then again, this rises to a very high point here, probably 50, 60 feet of elevation change. And then same thing happens over here, flat, rises up, and this rises up to Sienna Trail. Might point out one thing that's a little unique. You can see the road right-of-way here running parallel. It's 50 feet wide, and all of a sudden it widens out right here and is wider in this area. And that's because this property owner would like to have access to utilities, so we've extended the sanitary sewer up to this point, and by widening this, we don't create a spike strip between them, so they'll have full access to this street and the utilities on this street. That was a request they made at the time of the preliminary, and we're just making sure it happens on the time of the final.
Okay, so the lots all on the lower side of this drawing are all going to be high side lots.
Yes, high side,
And the other side of the street?
low side through here. This one might be flat, and then flat here.
What kind of embankments are you perceiving?
I don't remember the height of them. The depth of them are 90 feet deep for the pad themselves, so you have the front setback, then 90 feet within which to build the house, and any improvements they would want to put in the backyard, whether it be patios or swimming pools, etc. And then it drops off at a 2-to-1, and out here it rises at a 2-to-1 slope, cut slope.
We get to see more of the plan later, right?
No, you're approving the final plan.
Okay. So my questions were appropriate. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
He does have the grading plan on page 22.
Is there?
Yeah.
Excuse me for not going down there. Page 22. Okay.
Is Benjamin Marcus Homes actually going to build the homes in here, or is he selling these lots?
I believe he is selling them.
Okay.
So he is the developer under the 339 Just About LLC, but I believe he is selling these, not being the actual builder.
Bob, do you?
I'm good, yeah, I apologize for not getting that far down through the docket.
There's no further discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that carries 5-0.
Thank you very much.
Good seeing you, Mr. Victor.
All right, final item under new business will be a resolution amending the Peters Township Police Pension Program.
So as part of the labor agreement that was entered into with the Peters Township police officers, the township committed to implement 2 changes to the police officers' pension plan. The one change is an opportunity to buy back service credits for service elsewhere. This particularly affects individuals who've worked part-time elsewhere, or if you worked for a municipal department on a full-time basis, but you were not vested in the pension plan, you have the opportunity to go back and buy up to 5 years worth of service time. The second change is a provision that allows for an early retirement that is based upon a calculation of the amount of accrued benefit and reducing that payment down on an actuarial basis. Neither of these have a negative impact on the plan itself, and quite frankly, I don't see there being many cases where individuals will actually be in a position to take advantage of these. So
You're recommending
I
approval.
recommend approval of the resolution.
All right, I'll make a motion that we approve resolution number 07-02-25, amending the Peters Township Police Pension Plan.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carries 5-0. So payroll and bills.
Mr. Chairman, I've reviewed the payroll and bills. I find them to be in order. I move they be approved as submitted.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 5-0. Just one letter of correspondence regarding a new unconventional gas well and 84 notification. Reports. Does anybody wish to discuss anything on the reports?
Just educate me what this is.
Well, that's under miscellaneous.
Okay.
Okay, nothing under reports, so miscellaneous.
We have a request from Cecil Township. Cecil Township's having a problem being able to staff its fire station in Lawrence, and they're asking for our assistance on a temporary basis to be on fire and medical calls to be a first response to that area. I had a chance to sit down with the chief and talk about this. The area they're talking about is the area on our side of Route 79. We right now are the second response to this area regardless. And so
How would we, Gary just brought it up, how are you going to get a fire truck down there?
Underneath that.
it goes under there.
Does it really?
The old one? I know the old ones did. The new ones did.
Yeah, that was one of my
Wow, I
first
would've lost
questions.
that bet.
But it's not only that end of Lawrence, but it's down off of West McMurray Road. So Traditions of America, that's in this space as well. When there's a critical incident in Cecil, we're responding as the second call right now. I think what we ought to consider doing, and Chief McLaughlin supports this, is to agree to respond as a first call out for fire calls only, not medical calls. We don't want to get our paramedics tied up over in Cecil Township on medical calls.
When you say fire, are you saying working structural
Well,
fires?
and that's what this list is. So if you look at this, those items that are in yellow, if you look at the corresponding description, accidents with fatalities, accidents with injuries, explosions,
Burn victim.
elevator emergencies. And again, structure fires. And again, the difference would be that they would be toning out Peters Township and Cecil at the same time. This is very similar to what we do in North Strabane, but the difference in North Strabane is they have
They could reciprocate.
Yeah.
yes, and Cecil can't right now. So Ted Wolford, who actually used to be a member of the Peters Township Police Department, is the chief over there. And what the manager and Ted have explained to us is that Cecil Township intends to enact a fire tax that will go into effect next year. And then they intend to do, as we do, have a combination fire department to be able to provide the coverage in this area.
So they're only asking for our help till the end of the year?
What I'm going to suggest is that we do this to the end of the year with the understanding that if in fact it poses a problem, we'll let them know and we'll terminate the service. But they're our neighbors, and I think we ought to help them.
Absolutely.
So on this table then, is the yellow, are those the ones that?
The yellow are the ones that
That would
want us
be-
to do.
okay.
Yeah. And like I said, we don't want to do CO calls over there or odors of gas or things like that. That's something they ought to be handling on their own. But if you have an active incident, I think we ought to be able to help them out.
No, I think you're right, Paul. I don't have any problem with what you're suggesting.
But not medical, right?
No, just
No
fire.
medical calls. And one of the problems, one of the great things about our fire department, we respond with paramedics. If a paramedic begins care of
He has to
somebody
stay
over
with
there, he's going to be stuck there until that person makes it to the hospital. And I don't think we want to be doing that because at that point we short ourselves in terms of our own fire coverage.
Agreed.
The other thing that I wanted to talk to you about, when we had that major storm come through, one of the things that we discovered with regard to our parks is that our facilities inside of our parks don't necessarily have addresses. So like there's not an address in Peterswood Park for the picnic pavilions at the top of the hill. And that's a problem in terms of directing emergency service. It's also a problem of directing utility providers. So the transformer was out at the ball fields. There's no address there. And then identifying to 911 where that is becomes us going through some terrible description of like, it's off of Meredith Drive and you make the first turn. So what we'd like to do with, and I'm not suggesting we even have to post signs for this, we would like to establish road names for the loop at the top of the hill. The Public Works Department always refers to that as the horseshoe, and so we're going to suggest that we call it Horseshoe Drive. And then the road that goes through the parking lots for the ball field, that we call that Ball Field Drive. So that in fact, in the future, if there is a need for an emergency response, we have an address that people can respond to.
I'm fine with those names.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it?
That's it.
All right, any items for the next agenda? Seeing none, do we have any executive session items?
We do not.
Okay, meeting adjourned.